comes along with the game. It's like going grocery shopping to eat. You just have to do certain things to get what you need. So the seed was planted at that point though when I went to recovery, because I saw people that were actually sober and they had clean clothes and they were living an alright life. I never understood it, but they had it. I went to a lot of meetings through NA and AA and checked them out, and they all talked about spiritual awakenings and the 12 steps, and I said, you need to do these steps. I've read them on the wall so many times that I figured I must have done them by now. It wasn't that case though. So I continued in and out of recovery for many, many years. Never staying clean for more than 90 days. I just couldn't do it. I'd feed into the bullshit of all the chaos. There's two types of people in the fellowship. There's the ones that do recovery, and then there's the ones that just kind of idly stand by and get involved in all the bullshit. And I was idly standing by, just getting involved with sick girls and doing shady stuff and not really caring, not wanting to change my life. And then it got to a point where recovery ruined my using. And I went back out again and I tried to use, and instead of that thought of more dope, the thought came up of there's a way out. And it really pissed me off because I couldn't enjoy that high anymore, and it was quite a letdown. So I kept trying recovery. I kept going in and out, but I never did the steps. I figured all I had to do was go to a recovery house, go to some meetings, not use for a while, and I'll be okay. Stayed clean for 9 months, and I was living in a recovery house in New West, and I had a girlfriend, I had a job, and I was doing really good. And one day my brain said to me, let's go downtown and start an empire. So stupid me, I thought, well yeah, that's a great idea. I got 9 months clean now, I can do that. So 2 days later I was $1,000 in the hole with all the spics on Hastings and living under the Granville Street Bridge again. And I was baffled. I was like, how the hell did I get here again? Why didn't it work? I didn't understand. I knew there was a way out, but I was stuck where I was. And it was a really shitty place to be, because I wanted to change, but it couldn't change. And it was, as they say in the book, pitiful, incomprehensible demoralization. I was basically beaten to the point that, they say when the pain of change becomes greater than the pain of staying the same, then you will change. And most humans in history have always changed because of pain. Nobody just wakes up one day and changes their whole entire life just because it's going good. Like, I didn't walk down the street one day and think I'll go to detox and have a holiday. I went there because I was in a lot of pain. And left the Granville Street Bridge that morning, walked up to Main and Hastings again, and I was alone. I was broke, I was homeless, I was wet, it was cold, I was hungry, I was tired, I was angry. And I was standing on the corner, and I was just looking around at everything. And, to this day, I swear, physically and literally, something reached out of the sky and cuffed me right in the back of the head. Like I felt it. It hit me. And my eyeballs rattled and my brains rattled, and I looked around, and all of a sudden my whole vision changed. It was no longer, I didn't see the streets and the buildings and the concrete and all the action and the fun and the glamour. I didn't see that anymore. I saw the mountains for the first time in decades. I could hear birds singing. I could smell the piss smell, which I never smelled before. Everything became really real at that moment. And I looked around at everybody that I've been using with for decades, and I didn't recognize any of them. I didn't want to be around any of them. I didn't feel that I belonged there anymore. It was the strangest thing, but I thank God today that I acted on it, and I immediately ran away. And I went right to detox, and I banged on the door and asked them to let me in, and they didn't have any beds, so I said, okay, I'll wait. And I laid down right there, and I went to sleep, and I slept pretty well till the next day. And they woke me up the next morning, because I was sleeping in front of the door. They had to get out of the door, so they're banging the door off my head, screaming at me to wake up, and I finally woke up, and they brought me in. And I've been through detox been through Vancouver detox 7 times, Cordova detox 9 times, so I've been to detox before. I never stayed. This time it was different. It was weird because I was sitting in detox. I was coming off 60 mils of methadone, cold turkey, heroin, cocaine, all kinds of, Oxycontin, Dilaudid, everything I could get in me, I would do it. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't thinking about using dope. It was just completely baffling. I didn't understand it at all. That voice just was gone. And it was always that voice when I was in detox that took me out, because I listened to it. I think, you got a few days, you can do it now. And as soon as I do the one, I'm gone. So that voice wasn't there anymore, and it was a relief. I wanted to hold on to that. I wanted to keep whatever it was that took that away, that voice. I didn't want that voice to come back, man. I really got, it's like having a nagging wife. You just want it to just shut up and leave you alone, but it won't, right? No matter what you do. So finally that voice stopped, and I went with it. I lived it to the fullest. I stayed at detox for 14 days. I didn't sleep for 21 days when I was detoxing. It was quite the horrible experience, but the voice wasn't there, so it was tolerable. I had to stay in a shelter for a week on right across the street from Cordova Detox. So I was a fall down Hastings addict staying in a shelter clean. And it was kind of strange because I've stayed in that shelter loaded so many times. And I did use once in that time, and nothing happened. And it was strange. I didn't buy any bad stuff. It's just nothing happened. It was like it's like the problem was removed all of a sudden. And went to another shelter for a week in Surrey here. Ended up stealing somebody's mountain bike on my last day there on my way to treatment. Thought I'll just get one last one in me and that's it. And sold the bike for a 20 rod. I was an idiot because everything's on camera there and I knew it, but I didn't care. I took it anyway. So I went to my treatment center, and I was loaded when I got there. I lied, said I was clean, and they knew I was loaded. But a couple days later, the director got a phone call from the RCMP stating that one of your clients has stolen a mountain bike, and he was like, oh. So he came and asked me, and me being a good little addict, I was like, what mountain bike? So he said, well, you know what, like, if you're guilty or not, he says, this is your shit, this is your life, it's your choices. He says, you do what you think is right. So once he said that, I was pretty well screwed. I was like, oh my God. When I heard all this stuff in the meetings about doing the right thing for the right reason and doing the right thing when nobody's looking, and at this moment that voice was gone, and I had a little bit of conscience now, and I knew it was wrong when I did it, but I just did it anyways. But now I kind of had that conscious feeling, and I knew what was right. So I called the shelter, and I asked for the guy who had the mountain bike stolen, and he came on the phone, and I said, hi, I'm the guy who stole your mountain bike. And he goes, what the hell do you want? I go, well, I want to make this situation right. I want to fix it. I said, what can I do? He goes, I don't know what you can do, but you better do it now because the cops are looking for you. So I said, well, can you call the police and call off the dogs and I will make it right? He goes, well, what are you going to do? I said, well, I just got on welfare and I get a check in a couple weeks, so how about if I just give you my first check? And he was like, okay. So about 2 weeks later, I got my first welfare check. I got like $300 or something for support, and I called him up and I went and met him at Money Mart on Scott Road there, and I gave him my whole check. And it was the strangest thing. It was the first time I ever paid